Hi everybody, this is Marie, and this is the first installment of Regional Recipe of the Week, where one of us will share a recipe each week, so we can experience foods from various countries, and that's like, let's see if a lot of Twitter people want to join. That would be fun. So the first installment is French, because I'm French, and it's with a French quiche, which is a very traditional kind of pie. Here you go. So that's the quiche I made, and I have a bunch of little videos that you will be able to follow to make your own. I have also posted the list of ingredients. Hopefully you can find everything, and if you want tips or advice or anything, just let me know. Hi guys! Today I'm going to do the recipe for my family's recipe for quiche. Well, my recipe. Quiche is a traditional French kind of egg pie, but it's absolutely delicious. And I'm gonna start with the homemade pastry because we're gonna make the pastry from scratch because we're not cheaters. So for the pastry, all you need is 100 milliliters of water, 100 milliliters of oil, vegetable oil, something kind of neutral in taste. So maybe you can put a little bit of a drop of olive oil or something, but preferably something more neutral. A little bit of salt and everything you can put in with the flour. So there's no official quantity for the flour. It's going to be anything that fits in. So be sure you have a lot of it. Okay, so I'm going to mix the water and the oil and a little bit of salt in a big bowl. I'm going to put in all the flour I can. First with the wooden spoon, and then when there's a lot of it, I'm going to switch to my hands and just get in there. Alright, so now it's getting a little bit more solid, so I'm removing my spoon and I'm quick switch of flour because I didn't have any more of the first one, and I'm going to throw more in there and then start kneading it kind of with my hand. I'm not sure it's the right term. Should watch more of the Great British Bake Off, really. Alright, so I'm trying to make sure it's really homogeneous. So here it's still a little bit, soft, so I'm going to put a little bit more flour. I just do this until the kind of greasy shine is almost gone. And I think that's really close to being good. Okay, so now it's done. I'm going to put it a little bit closer so you can see. So it's very soft. Still, you can still feel that it's a little bit, it's not too dry. It can't be too dry because you have to spread it. So yeah, this is how I do it generally. Okay, then I have a 30 centimeters just pie dish like this. I mean, the size can vary, you can do whatever you like. And then some grease paper for the cooking. And I'm going to cut the corners and then do my mom's secret technique of cutting little slashes in there to make sure it stays pan nicely in the dish. Okay, now it's nice and flat. I'm going to put my dough in, my pastry. I'm just going to spread it like this first. You can also use a rolling pin and just with a little bit of flour on a flat surface and just roll it to flatten it, but it's good to know that it also works like this. So you can just smush it down there and slowly, nicely spread it to the corners. Well, the edges. There's no corner. It's a circle. I'm really great with math. So there you have it, the pastry. I don't know exactly the name of it. It's kind of the go-to family pastry. It's really great for any kind of pie. If you do, sometimes when I do a sweet pie, I can put like 1 tablespoon of sugar in there to make it a little bit sweeter. But really, you can do anything with it. One thing that's super good also is to mix the water with milk. So you can have 100 milliliters of milk or 100 milliliters of water, or you can have a mix of both in the same quantity. So, like, as long as you have 100 milliliters is good. Yeah, and it's super delicious. So, here we go. Okay, so this is for the inside of the quiche. What we're going to put in there is so eggs. I use 3. If you want it extra thick, you can use 4. You can use only 2 if you want it a little bit lighter. I generally use 3. I'm gonna make it today. That's like my favorite, with onion and diced bacon. We call those lardons in French. And obviously, the main ingredient is shredded cheese. This is Emmental, but you can also use. I've done it when I was in the UK. I've done it with cheddar when I needed to. Any kind of like that kind of cheese will work. Okay, we're also gonna use a mix of milk and cream, like a little bit thicker. And I like to use we call it moutarde à l'ancienne. I'm not sure you can find it everywhere. Normal mustard will do. But maybe go lighter with the normal mustard, because this is quite. This isn't very hot, so if you go with the stronger mustard, maybe go light on it. All right, I'm going to dice the onion and like cook this first, and I'll show you that. So I've started chopping my onion. I have a really bad chopping technique, and I know, so please don't like attack me on this. I'm very self-conscious. You don't need to slice them too thin, like that. That is enough. Just avoid doing a finger quiche, because that couldn't be really good. Here we go. So, sorry I didn't mention that in the ingredients, but you can't take the Frenchness out of me when I'm making quiche. So I'm going to put a little bit of butter to kind of cook the onions there. Putting a little bit of oil to keep the butter from burning too much. And when it's really hot, I'm going to add my onions. Patience, so it's never hot enough when I put in the things. Here we go. Little bit of salt. Just let that on the fire, on the stove top, until they're kind of transparent-ish. Another thing that you can do that's great with onions is that you can put a little bit of sugar. I'm using brown sugar here, but you can use white sugar, just a little bit of it to kind of make them caramelize. I like to do that. I turn the heat down also to avoid that, like keep them from burning. And when the onions start going a little bit transparent, you can see that some of them are starting. We're going to put the diced bacon in. Alright, so I've turned off the heat. Here we go. You can see that the onions are a little bit transparent. They're going to finish cooking in the oven, but with onion you have to start like in the pan, otherwise they just never cook really well. So we're going to leave that on the side and come back later. Alright, now for the main bit. So we're going to break our 3 eggs. And then we're going to add a little bit of cream. I'm so sorry for people who are very precise, because I am not, and I cook by like feeling. I'm not a great cook by any means. So that's not a very precise recipe. It's just that's why I'm making a video, so you can see the feel of it. So a little bit of milk to make it a little bit more light. Salt and pepper, you can put in now. Yep. Okay, so this is a tiny bit thick for me, and I'm gonna put a little bit more milk in it. There we go. There we go. See? So that's how you want it, and we're gonna add some of cheese in the mix. Now a handful of cheese. That was a small one. Maybe it's a little bit more. Oop. There you go. Mix it, and here we go. So now the real deal starts. I'm going to spread a little bit of mustard. As I said earlier, if you're going with like plain yellow hot mustard, go a little bit easy on it. This is really not very strong. It's very tasty, but not very strong. Then I'm going to add the bacon and the onion. Yeah, as I said earlier, also, if the traditional French way is to just put the bacon, and you can very well just leave the bacon on the pastry uncooked and let it cook in the oven. So if it's just the bacon, you don't have to pre-cook it. Okay, just going to try and spread that a little bit more evenly. Then I'm going to go in with my egg mix. Here we go. Here we go. And the last thing is, because I like it extra cheesy, to put some more cheese on top of it. Some people just put all the cheese in the mix, but I like to have it on top to make it a little bit crispier. Easy openings are a scam, so I used the scissors. And I'm back, and I'm putting, like, just sprinkling the cheese. I didn't preheat the oven because I didn't want the sound on the video, but you're very welcome to preheat it. I'm gonna preheat it now. It's 180 degrees Celsius, so sorry, I don't know how much it is in Fahrenheit. Often here it's like 6 thermostat. Oh, here we go. Woohoo! The oven just rang. I can put it in. Oh, not to break anything. Not to drop it. Not to drop it. Here we go. See you in 30-ish minutes. And ta-da! Here it is. All goldish. So beautiful. I'm gonna take it out and hopefully you can see it better. Alright, it had to go back in the oven for a bit because I forgot how to use my mom's oven and it was a little bit undercooked. I think the pastry still is a little bit, but that's gonna be alright. So you can leave it between 30 and 40 minutes, depending on how thick it is. Take it out when it's like nice and brown like this.